Now let's get more reaction now to the sentencing of Gary Dobson and David Norris. In his remarks today, the judge, Mr Justice Tracy, said the murder of Stephen Lawrence on the night of the 22nd of April in 1993 was a terrible and evil crime. A totally innocent 18-year-old youth on the threshold of a promising life was brutally cut down in the street in front of eyewitnesses by a racist, thuggish gang. This crime was committed for no other reason than racial hatred. He did not know Stephen Lawrence or Dwayne Brooks. Neither of them had done anything to harm, threaten or offend you in any way, apart from being black. Well, a little earlier, Diane Abbott, the MP for Hackney North and Stoke Newington, told my colleague Philippa Thomas that despite the convictions of Gary Dobson and David Norris, there were still questions to be answered about the murder of Stephen Lawrence.
Well, I've supported this campaign from the very beginning, nearly 20 years ago, and there were long years when the Lawrences struggled alone. So today is some sort of vindication for them, but of course only a partial vindication, because other people who were involved in the killing of Stephen are still walking free.
We're hearing from the police that they'll be meeting next week in order to, as they put it, reflect and discuss on the operational requirements they would need to push this forward. I think that's a code, but you would know better than me, for the police looking to take this on, perhaps looking at other suspects again.
Well, I think we all want to see the case properly cleared up. It can't be right that young men, well, they were young men then, who were there and were part of the killing, maybe who wielded the knife, can still be walking free when nothing is going to bring the Lawrence's son back.
What did you make of the new Metropolitan Police Commissioner saying today that the others shouldn't rest easy in their beds?
Well, it's a good thing he said that. You know, the police have to have some credit for persisting with this inquiry 20 years later. Obviously, it's all down to the campaign that the Lawrence family waged, but if they are still going to press on, there may be hope that all the guilty are finally punished.
The difficulty, of course, is that this case was based on forensic evidence, and there was a really exhaustive investigation, as you know, by LGC Forensics. They looked at all the suspects' clothing and they came forward with what they had, which was microscopic dots of blood and fibres and hair. So there may be no more of that kind of evidence that can be forthcoming.
There may be no more forensic evidence that can be forthcoming, but it is the case that there will be people who the other suspects have confessed to, and even at this late stage, even though we know the gangland codes that obtain with these sorts of people, even at this late stage, people may be willing to come forward and say what they know. And for the Lawrence family's sake, I hope they do. It's long overdue that Stephen Lawrence gets justice.
Diane Abbott there speaking to Philippa Thomas a little earlier.
Time 20 to 4. Let's go